So, good afternoon everyone. So, we are now in our next topic. So, hindi ko na i-discuss yung, di ba, we have the continuous probability distribution, the discrete probability distribution, and we have the joint probability distribution. But the last part, yung joint probability distribution, hindi na natin siya i-discuss because na-discuss na natin siya sa mga first topic natin about probability, yung part ng intersection, yung magiging probability ng intersection natin, yun yung tinatawag natin na joint probability distribution. So, madali lang naman yun, so hindi ko na siya i-discuss. We are now here sa last 2 units natin before before we finish the syllabus. Last 2 units na lang, so I think matatapos naman natin lahat before closing, matatapos natin lahat siya. So, we are done with descriptive statistics. We are now here in inferential statistics. So we have discussed what is descriptive statistics and inferential statistics. So in our previous discussion, we have discussed the central tendency, measure of variation, measure of spread. So na-discuss natin lahat ng yun, and that is all descriptive statistics. So this time, dito na tayo sa inferential statistics. So I have mentioned before na ang inferential statistic is mas broader, mas nagagamit natin siya as compared to descriptive statistics. Why? Because ang sinasabi, inferential statistics, ang inferential statistic is the heart of statistic. Bakit? Why is it that inferential statistic is the heart of statistics? It is because ang inferential statistic natin kasi, ang ginagamit natin most of the time in making conclusion or in generalization, para mag-generalize tayo sa mga, let's say, kayong mga estudyante, you are more on mga research, mga thesis study, ganyan. So, inferential statistics ang ginagamit natin. Madalang lang naman tayong gumamit ng mean, median mode, so masyado ng high school yung mga yun kung gagamitin natin siya in thesis, and hindi na siya ganun ka linya, hindi na siya naililinya doon sa mga magiging thesis topic natin later on. So, inferential statistics ang ginagamit natin. So, the word infer, ibig sabihin ng infer is to make conclusion or generalize. Infer, to make conclusion or generalize. So, di ba sabi natin before, ano na ulit? Kapag sinabi nating inferential statistics, paano natin nare-relate ang sample and population kapag sinabi nating inferential statistics? Di ba, na-discuss natin before sa pag-determine kung descriptive statistic ba or inferential statistics. Sa inferential statistic, ginamit natin ang sample and population para ma-determine natin siya. Kapag inferential statistic, di ba, we have population, and this population, it's impossible na ma-study mo lahat yung buong population mo. Let's say, for example, you are to study the average income of Filipino. So, imposible na ma-determine mo yung average income ng Filipino kasi ang daming Pilipino. Hindi mo siya ma-i-study using your whole population. So, ang mangyayari from this population, kukuha ka ng sample. So, that is how the population and sample related kapag sinabi nating inferential statistics. And from this sample, magkakanda ka ngayon ng study para ma-describe mo yung population mo. Yun ang inferential statistic natin. Okay. So, in inferential statistic, we have what we call estimation. So, dito sa statistical inference natin, we have estimation. This is the process of estimating the value of a parameter from information obtained from a sample. We have 2 types of estimation, the point estimate and the interval estimate. When we say point estimate, it is a specific numerical value estimate of parameter. The best point estimate of the population mean is the sample mean x. The interval estimate naman of a parameter is an interval or a range of values used to estimate the parameter. This estimate may or may not contain the value of parameter being estimated. So, ano ba ang ibig sabihin ng mga estimate na to? So, if we have yung example natin kanina, the average income of Filipinos, so very impossible na ma-estimate mo yung average income of every Filipino. Pero kapag kukuha ng sample, halimbawa, kukuha ka ng sample and from that sample, i-estimate mo kung ilan yung average income average income ng Filipino. So, that is estimate. Mag-estimate ka, magsiset ka ng value mo. So, we have two type, the point estimate. Oh, wait lang. Ang mga parameter pala na ina-estimate natin dito is yung mean. It can be itong parameter, it can be the mean. I-estimate mo yung mean or yung average income, ganyan, mean, variance. So, you are estimating these parameters, mean, variance, ano pa, standard deviation, ganyan. When we say point estimate, it is a specific numerical value. Meron kang numerical value. Let's say, for example, let's say sa CSU, the college president, si president natin wishes to estimate the average age of students attending in first semester sa, let's say sa ABE second year. So gustong i-determine ng president yung average age ng mga student na nag-a-attend ng first semester. So the president, so let's say marami kayong ABE students. And then, dahil madami kayong ABE students, kukuha lang ngayon si President ng, let's say, 50 na student, 50 na second year ABE student. And from that, kukunin niya yung average age ng mga student natin. Let's say na ang average age ng mga student natin is, average age ng mga student ng second year is 20 or 21. Okay, 21 na lang. 21. So, this 21, ito yung tinatawag natin na point estimate. So, may specific value ka, specific numerical value ka. So, ito yung point estimate. May isang value ka na na-estimate. Yan, dito pala. Kapag point estimate, we take a sample from the population to estimate the population means. Kapag interval estimate naman, pwede mong sabihin na ang average age ng mga second year ABE student is 21 to 23. Okay. So, ang average age ng mga second year ABE student is 21 to 23. So, tinatawag natin to as interval estimate. You have two values. Meron kang dalawang point. So, that is interval estimate. Next. So, however, di ba, itong mga estimate na to, these are only estimates and, di ba, kapag estimate, kasi parang in-estimate mo lang, hindi talaga yun yung exact value niya. Walang assurance na yung estimate na yun ay tama. These are only estimates and true value of the population will be somehow around this estimate. Halimbawa, dito sa interval estimate natin, yung true value or yung talagang average age ng mga second year RB students is nasa value to. Pero hindi mo alam kung anong value yon. So, confidence level, meron tayong tinatawag na confidence level. So, the confidence level is, ang sabi diyan, of an interval estimate of a parameter is the probability that the interval estimate will contain the parameter, assuming that a large number of samples are selected and the estimation process on the same parameter is repeated. So, kapag sinabi natin confidence level, it is a way of expressing how sure or gaano ka-certain that the statement or gaano ka-certain dun sa statement or conclusion mo. It is, ang confidence level natin, it is often used in statistic to indicate reliability. Yung estimate mo ba is gaano siya ka-reliable? Totoo bang ganito talaga yung estimate natin? Wait lang, may nag-enter. Okay. So, let's say for example, dito sa confidence level natin. So, example nito is, imagine na nag-conduct ka ng survey. So, ngayon mainit ngayon. So, nag-conduct ka ng survey to find out what percentage of people ang gustong-gusto ng ice cream. So, if you say na based on my survey, I am 95% confident. So, meron tayong mga confidence level, meron tayong 90% confidence level, meron tayong 95% confidence level, and meron tayong 99% confidence level. So kapag sinabi mo na, I am confident that, I am 95% confident that 60 to 70% of people like ice cream. So, the confidence level is 95. Ibig sabihin ng 95% na to is that nag-conduct ka, na this means that if you were to conduct the same survey many times, you would expect you would expect na talagang yung range ng mga mahilig mag-ice cream ay nasa 60 to 70%. So, yun ang ibig sabihin ng confidence interval. So, in simpler terms, kapag mas mataas yung confidence level mo, it indicates, so kapag mas mataas, let's say 99% confidence level, it indicates a higher certainty or higher reliability. So, kung mas mataas yung let's i-denote na lang natin as CL, confidence level natin, mas mataas din yung reliability ng result natin. While kapag, of course, while a lower confidence level means that there's more uncertainty. Uncertain ka dun sa accuracy ng conclusion mo. So we have here, the confidence interval is a specific interval estimate of a parameter determined by using data obtained from a sample by using the specific confidence level of an estimate. So yung intervals conducted this way is called, yun nga, yung confidence interval. So, we have example ata dito ng confidence interval. So, assuming, wait lang, dito na tayo. Okay, so itong confidence interval, we have a formula to use dito sa pag-solve ng ating interval. Kasi 'di ba, dun sa interval estimate natin kanina, you will just estimate, yung mag-estimate ka lang ng dalawang value. But here in confidence interval, dahil nga may confidence level ka, meron tayong tinatawag na confidence interval, you are going to use an equation para makuha natin yung magiging value, magiging two values natin, or yung magiging interval natin. So we have this equation, x1, the mean minus our z value times the standard deviation all over n. Our n here is the total number of samples. So, nandito pala. X is the sample mean, n is the sample size, and s is the sample standard deviation. Plus and minus indicates the lower and the upper limit of the confidence interval respectively. So, nandito pala yung confidence interval natin. We are going to use this equation. We will have an example later kung paano natin i-solve yung confidence interval natin. Meron din tayong tinatawag na critical value. Critical value, this one, etong nandito. Etong border natin dito. This is called the critical value. This is the number on the borderline, this one, separating sample statistics that are likely to occur from those that are unlikely to occur. The number ZA over 2 is a critical value that is a Z-score with the property that separates an area in the right tail of the standard normal distribution. So, etong portion na to, this is called the critical value. Siya yung nagse-separate dun sa accepted region natin, dun sa rejected region natin, dun sa nangyayari, this is probability that will occur dun sa region natin, and dun sa probability that it will not occur. Yun yung critical value natin. So, in this case, ang confidence level natin, kapag ang confidence level natin is 95%, so this region, the area kung saan hindi na, it will not likely to occur is this region. Itong region na to. So, paano yan nakuha? Siyempre, kapag 95%, so 1 minus 0.95 is equal to 0.05. And 0.05 divided by 2 is 0.025. So, paano ang nangyayari kapag, let's say, meron tayong let's say, etong mga confidence interval natin dito ay hindi given. Let's say, ang given na confidence interval is 94%. the given confidence interval is 94%, how will we get the critical value? Paano natin kukunin itong critical value natin if ang given na confidence interval natin is 94%? So, gagamitin lang natin yung, in cases like that, gagamitin lang natin yung table natin. If you remember our table dun sa z value natin, di ba? Kung halimbawa 94% ang interval natin, so that would 94% ang confidence interval natin, so that would be 1 minus 0.94 is equal to 0.06. So ang 0.06 natin, so 0.06 divided by 2, that would be 0.03. So dito na portion would be 0.03 and dito na portion would be 0.03 din. 0.03 din. So, this portion, itong buong portion na to, dito hanggang dyan would be 0.94 plus 0.03 is equal to 0.97. So, hahanapin mo ngayon dun sa table natin kung ano yung magiging critical value niya. Hahanapin mo yung 0.97 na value dun. Ganun lang yun. Okay, let's try to solve these problems using our equation. Kung paano natin kukunin yung confidence interval natin. I hope nakakasunod kayo dun sa mga medyo concept na part, ha? Okay, so let's try this one. A researcher wishes to estimate the number of days it takes an automobile dealer to sell a Chevrolet Aveo. A sample of 50 cars had a mean time on the dealer's lot of 54 days. Assume that the population standard deviation to be 6 days. Find the best point estimate of the population mean and the 95% confidence interval of the population mean. So, how will we solve this one? So, gagamitin lang natin yung equation natin to solve for the confidence interval. So, yung equation natin is, ano yung equation natin? This one. So, mean plus our critical value times the standard deviation all over the square root of n. So, that would be mean minus our z value times the standard deviation all over n. Plus minus pala yun. Plus minus. So, for our first value, our mean is 54. Had a mean time of 54 days. Minus our z, kapag 95% confidence interval, the value of our z, the critical value is this one, 1.96. So that would be 1.96 times our standard deviation is 6 all over our total sample is 50.
Ma'am,
Oops.
di pa ba square root yung n po?
Square root ba yung n? Yeah, square root yung n. Thank you. And our another value would be 54 plus 1.96 times 6 all over the square root of 50. So our value here would be calculating, we should be able to get 52.3 to 55.7. So this is our interval at 95% confidence level. So we can conclude then that with 95 confidence level, the interval is between 52.3 to 55.7 days. Another example, ganun lang din naman itong second example natin. A survey of 30 emergency room patients found that the average waiting time for treatment was 174.3 minutes. Assuming that the population standard deviation is 46.5, find the best point estimate of the population mean and the 99% standard deviation. So, hindi natin nasagot yung point estimate natin. Survey, personal average waiting time for treatment was 174.3 minutes. So, of course, the best point estimate here is yung given sa atin. The best point estimate here is the 174.3 minutes. Ang sabi dyan, a survey of 30 emergency room patients found that the average waiting time for treatment was 74.3 minutes. Ito yung estimate natin. Ito yung point estimate natin or yung certain value natin. That is the best point estimate. So, and sinasabi dyan, we are asked to determine the 99% confidence of the population mean. So, the same thing, gagamitin lang ulit natin yung formula natin. So, we have 174.3 minutes minus our z value for 99% confidence level is 2.575. So, we have 2.575 times our standard deviation is 46.5. Yan. Our standard deviation is 46.5 all over the square root of our sample. Our sample is 30. And the other value would be 174.3 plus 2.575 times 46.5 all over square root of 30. So our value here would be 152.4 and 196.2. So these are the two values of our estimation. Okay na ba tayo dito sa confidence interval natin? Okay, let's proceed. Let us proceed in hypothesis testing. So, when we say hypothesis testing, so nandito na tayo sa part ng thesis nyo later on kung paano mag-formulate ng thesis and kung paano i-test ang mga magiging thesis natin. So, hypothesis testing, when we say hypothesis testing, it is a decision-making process for evaluating claims about a population. So, we have na kapag may estimates na tayo, kapag may mga na-estimate na tayong mga value, the next is to do hypothesis testing. So, it is a way on how to evaluate the claims. Hypothesis testing is an assumption, or it is a way of testing an assumption or conjecture about a population parameter which may or may not be true. So, tinatest lang natin dito if our assumption is tama ba o hindi. When we say hypothesis, sinasabi natin, our pinaka-basic na definition ng hypothesis natin is educational guess. Diba? When we were in high school, kapag sinabi natin hypothesis, it is an educational guess or intelligent guess, ganyan. It is a tentative statement that is investigated during the process of research. So, ito yung gusto nating patunayan. Hypothesis pertains to certain phenomenon and it is based on a theory. Data is then collected by the researcher in order to validate the hypothesis. Thus, the hypothesis is rejected or accepted by a researcher based on the results obtained. So, we have two types of hypothesis, the alternative and the null hypothesis. So, ang sabi natin, ang hypothesis, it is a statement na gusto nating i-investigate. So, let's say for example, we have statement of the problem or yung problem na gusto nating masagot dun sa magiging study natin or magiging research natin. So let's say for example dito sa mga you are agricultural engineering student. So halimbawa ito yung magiging research question later on. Does biofertilizer has a significant effect on plant growth? So if you want to answer this question, so you will then formulate your hypothesis. You have your alternative hypothesis and the null hypothesis. So what is this alternative hypothesis? So paano natin i-state na lang muna yung alternative hypothesis when we will state it this way. So our alternative hypothesis will be application of biofertilizer X increase plant growth. Kapag naman null hypothesis, application of biofertilizer X do not increase plant growth. So ano ngayon ang ibig sabihin ng alternative and null hypothesis natin? When we say null hypothesis, it is a statistical hypothesis that states that there is no difference between a parameter. There is no significant difference, there is no significant relationship. Ayun yung mga common na mga statement natin kapag null hypothesis, meron yung word na no. There is no significant relationship between the two parameters or nothing change, nothing happen. Yun yung ibig sabihin ng null hypothesis natin. So, kapag halimbawa may bagong labas na gamot and then bagong labas na drug for high blood patient, yung mga ganyan, tapos pinainom mo sa kanila and then walang significant effect, so magiging accepted ang null hypothesis mo. There is no significant effect or there is no significant difference, ganyan. Kapag naman alternative, ito palang null hypothesis natin guys, ito yung initial na claim natin. This is our initial claim. And tandaan nyo na it is denoted as HO. Next, alternative hypothesis. It is a statistical hypothesis that states the existence of a difference between a parameter and a specific value, or states that there is a difference between two parameters. So kapag alternative hypothesis naman, it is denoted as HA. Pero sa mga ibang book, it is also denoted as H1, ganyan. It contradict the null hypothesis. It is contrary to the null hypothesis. Kasi kung dito sa null hypothesis natin is ginagamit natin yung word na no, dito naman na there exists. Meron talagang nag-exist. So yung mga common na ginagamit natin dito is there is a significant difference, kanyan. Existence of difference, there is significant effect or there is a change, there is significant relationship. Yun yung mga ginagamit natin dito sa alternative hypothesis. So iba't iba ang construction or iba't iba ang magiging hypothesis natin depende kapag two-tailed test, right-tailed test, or left-tailed test ang gagawin natin. So ano ba tong mga to? Tong two-tailed, right-tailed, and left-tailed test. Okay, so we have situations here. So situation 1, a medical researcher is interested in finding out whether a new medication will have any desirable side effect. The researcher is particularly concerned with the pulse rate of the patients who take the medication. Will the pulse rate increase, decrease, or remain unchanged after the patient takes the medication? So let's say that the average heartbeat of the patient, the population is 82. Hindi na ilagay dito. The average heartbeat or heart rate is 82 beats per minute. So, ang magiging hypothesis natin dito would be, our null hypothesis would be, U is equal to, wait lang. So this will be our hypothesis here. So ang sinasabi dyan, will the pulse rate decrease? Will the pulse rate increase, decrease, or remain unchanged after the patient takes the medication? So ang magiging null hypothesis natin, the null hypothesis, sinasabi nito that the mean will remain unchanged. Ibig sabihin, hindi magbabago, will not change. So, ang heartbeat, sinasabi dito, the heartbeat is 82 beats per minute. So, your null hypothesis will be stated this way. So, the mean, the average heartbeat of the patients will not change. So, meron tayong word na not. Will not change, ibig sabihin, yung mean natin will remain 82. Kapag naman alternative hypothesis natin, ang i-state naman natin dito, the pulse rate of the patients changes, or is the pulse rate of the patient changes, or the pulse rate of the patients is not equal to 82. So, pwedeng ganon. Or, pwede ding maging statement nyo dito is, there is a significant, pwede ding maging statement nyo dito is, sana yun? The new medication have a significant effect to the patients. Pwede din ganon. Dito naman sa sa null hypothesis natin, pwede ang maging statement nyo dito is, there is no significant, the medication have no significant effect to the patients. So, meron tayong word na not, meron tayong word na no, ganyan. Situation B. So, ang tawag natin dito sa hypothesis na to is, ginagamit natin ang hypothesis na yan kapag two-tailed test siya. Kapag merong changes or wala, yun lang yun. May effect or wala yung tinetest natin or yung gusto natin i-prove. Kung may effect or wala, kapag dalawa lang yung magiging effect na may effect or wala, two-tailed test ang tawag natin doon. Meron siyang possible side effects, or pwede niyang taasan or babaan yung pulse rate natin. Okay, yun na lang. Pwede niyang taasan or babaan, two-tailed test siya. Kapag naman right-tailed test, our situation B, a chemist invents an additive to increase the life of an automobile battery. If the mean lifetime of the automobile battery without the additive is 36 months, then her null hypothesis would be the mean is equal to 36, and the alternative hypothesis is the mean lifetime is greater than 36. So, in this situation, may nag-raise ba ng kamay? Or may nag-delete? Umalis. Okay. So, in this situation, ang ginugol lang ng chemist is gusto niyang makita kung magi-increase ba yung ang tawag dito, yung lifetime, ayun magi-increase ba yung lifespan ng battery. Yun yung goal niya. So, ang alternative hypothesis niya dito is the mean lifetime of automobile battery is greater than 36. Dito naman sa null hypothesis natin, the mean lifetime of automobile battery does not change, or the mean lifetime of the battery is equal to 36 months. So, kapag ang gustong patunayan ng researcher ay kung magi-increase or greater or tataas yung mean or yung average ng ini-study niya, that is called right-tailed test. Kapag naman ang situation natin, next situation is a contractor wishes to lower. Kapag naman babaan, ulitin natin ha, kapag taasan, increase. If there is increase, ang gagamitin natin dyan is the right-tailed test. Right-tailed. Kapag lower or decrease, ang gagamitin natin ay left-tailed test. So, a contractor wishes to lower heating bills by using a special type of insulation in houses. If the average of the monthly heating bills is $78, her hypothesis about heating costs with the use of insulation are, her null hypothesis would be the the average monthly heating bill is $78, or the average of the monthly heating bill does not change. Pwedeng yun ang maging ang null hypothesis niya. So ang alternative hypothesis niya, since lowering or decreasing ang goal ng left-tailed test, so that would be the average of the monthly heating bills is less than $78, or the average monthly heating bills decreases. Pwede din ganon. So that is left-tailed test. So in construction of hypothesis or hypothesis statement, eto yung mga common phrases na pwede nating gamitin. Is greater than, is above, is higher than, is longer than, is bigger than, or is increase. Kapag naman lesser than, eto yung mga pwedeng mga words or mga phrases na pwede nating gamitin. Kapag equal naman, ayan, so has not changed, is the same, is equal, is the same as, and kapag ito naman is not equal, is different from, has changed, or is not the same as. So, ito yung magiging illustration natin kapag one-tailed, two-tailed, and one-tailed test. So, kapag left-tailed test, so, ganito ang magiging itsura niya. Two-tailed test, ganito, and the one-tailed test ay ganito. Okay, so I think this would be the last na lang muna. Let us state the null and alternative hypothesis for each conjecture. Letter A, a researcher thinks that if expectant mothers use vitamin pills, the birth weight of the babies will increase. The average birth weight of the population is 8.6 pounds. So what would be our null hypothesis here? What would be the null hypothesis? Jerome, what would be the null hypothesis, Jerome? Bakit? Okay.
Am I audible po?
Yes.
The null hypothesis has... Ma'am, yung kahit ano lang, equals to 8.6 pounds.
Yeah, pwede ganon. The null hypothesis would be the average birth weight of the population is 8.6 pounds. Pwede lang din ng ganon. The average weight of the population is 8.6 pounds. Guys, take note na sa kapag mga thesis, ganun na hindi ganito ha. HO is equal to symbol lang yung ginagawa natin. Kapag mga thesis, ini-state natin siya into words. So, this null hypothesis would be the average birth weight of the population is 8.6 pounds. Tapos, yung alternative hypothesis natin would be, anong alternative hypothesis natin? Luis Mauro. What would be our alternative hypothesis? Wala si Luis dito. How about si Raymart? Raymart, what would be? Yes, Luis. What would be our alternative hypothesis?
Ma'am, the average population will not be equal to 8.6 pounds, ma'am. Birth weight, ma'am.
Oh, pwede, but then, take note na meron tayong word na increase dito. Meron tayong word na increase. So, kapag meron tayong word, yes, Christian.
Average birth weight greater than 8.6.
The average birth weight is greater than 8.6. So, ibig sabihin, this is a right-tailed test. Kasi meron tayong word na increase. Kapag meron tayong word na increase or decrease, or meron tayong word na increase and decrease lang pwede natin gamitin dito eh. So, that would be, it's either left-tailed test or right-tailed test. So, in this case, yung letter A natin is right-tailed test. So, that is, kapag word natin na i-state, the average weight of the population is greater than 8.6 pounds. For letter B naman, an engineer hypothesized the mean of defect that can be decreased in manufacturing process of compact discs by using robots instead of humans for certain tasks. The mean number of defective discs per 1,000 is 18. So, our null hypothesis here would be the mean of defective discs per 1,000 is 18, or the mean of defective discs is 18. So, pwede lang yon. The mean of defective disk is 18. And our alternative hypothesis would be, take note that we have here the word decrease. So this is a left-tailed test. So if it is a left-tailed test, that would be the mean number of defective disks is lesser than 18. And lastly, letter C, psychologist feels that playing soft music during a test will change the result of the test. The psychologist is not sure whether the grades will be higher or lower. In the past, the mean of the score was 73. So our alternative, our null hypothesis would be the mean of the scores is 73. Pwede lang. The mean of the score is 73 or the mean of the score does not change, or ano pa ba? Yung mga pwedeng phrases na gamitin natin dito sa null hypothesis natin. That would be 73, and our alternative hypothesis would be U is not equal to 3. Equal to 73. Meron kasi tayo dito na word na higher or lower. Parang dun sa example natin na nauna kanina, dito sa situation A natin kanina, ang pwedeng maging outcome lang neto is increase or decrease. Yun lang, increase or decrease or unchanged. So, kapag meron yung mga word na both, merong word na increase or decrease both word ay meron dun sa statement natin. So, that is two-tailed test. So, I think that would be all for today muna. Our next topic would be statistical test. Konti na lang kasi yung nasa syllabus natin, kaya wag na natin masyadong bilisan kasi baka wala na kayong gawin later on. So, hanggang dito na lang muna.